Hello everyone! So Valentine's Day is coming up soon and it's that time of year again for love balls to appear a million times out of nowhere. But this isn't just any love ball. Now, who is the most beloved Pokemon in the entire world? That's right, Zubat. Zubat needs just as much love as any other Pikachu out there. February needs to be Zubat's month to shine. If you'd like to see how to make this awesome card, keep on watching. So some of the items you need are your choice of cardstock colors, felt if you choose to use it, plastic of some sort such as plastic bag, a Ziploc bag, buttons, scissors, and smaller scissors like threading scissors, double-sided tape, scotch tape, score tape, tacky glue, hot glue and hot glue gun, hole puncher, and ribbon. You can find the complete item list in the description box below. I'm using this strawberry cream set of cardstock that I got about a year ago for this entire project. You can use whatever color you want depending on how Valentine-y you want to keep it, and if you're planning to use another Pokemon besides Zubat, but you should honestly be making the Zubat anyway. So now I have two 6 1/4 by 4 3/4 inch pieces, which will be your tags, two 6 1/4 by 7 inch pieces, that would be your front and back pieces, one 6 inch by 6 inch piece, that will be your centerpiece. Now you will need a plastic bag. I'm using a grocery bag, but if you don't want your card to make noises when the person you're giving it to pulls it, then you can use a Ziploc bag instead. Cut your bag into a long strip that's a bit smaller than your 6 1/4 by 4 3/4 inch tags. Wrap it loosely around your 6 inch by 6 inch centerpiece and tape it into place. I use double-sided tape and scotch tape on the grocery bag. Once the bag is in place, use either double-sided tape or the score tape. Now, this score tape is really strong, so if you mess up, then there's no going back. On one side of the bag, put a piece of tape on the top. Then on the other side, put tape on the bottom. Put one of your tags on each side as evenly as possible. You should be able to pull one tag effortlessly and have the other tag pop out the other end. Then take one of your front pieces and try to guesstimate how far your tags will pull out so you know how far down you should make your designs. Draw your Zubat, and it better be a Zubat, on a scrap sheet of paper the same size as the tag pieces. Cut Zubat out and then try to make it symmetrical by folding your drawing in half and cutting off the excess. Trace the new Zubat onto cardstock and then cut them out. Take the one ear you like and then trace them on both sides and make sure that your Zubat fits inside the tags. And if it's bigger than your tags, trim the size off a bit. I decided to make my Zubat out of felt, so I'm tracing the pattern onto neon blue felt. After cutting out the pattern from the felt, you will have to trim the sides down because tracing a pattern makes your new pattern slightly bigger. Then you're gonna cut and trace the rest of your pattern pieces onto the correct color felt. And then I decided to turn Zubat's frown upside down since it's a Valentine's Day card. If you guys have seen my other DIY videos, you know that I'm big with sewing my stuff together, so I'm doing just that. If you'd rather not, you can just glue all your felt pieces together. I'm using felt stitches on Zubat's ears, the inside of his wings, and his fangs. Now I'm doing a blanket stitch around the edges of the wings. For Zubat's mouth, I'm using black embroidery thread and doing back stitches. You can make it out of felt if you like. I also did a back stitch with black sewing thread on this part of Zubat's wings to kind of show that it's a pair of wings and not like a merged pair of wings, so it doesn't look as wonky. Tacky glue or wet glue your Zubat onto the tag piece that goes downwards, and then place a heavy object on top of it so it dries up without curling up. Trace one of your front and back pieces onto another piece of scrap paper and freehand a large circle. Cut it out and then fold it in half. Cut off excess to make the circle as perfect as possible, and then trace it onto white cardstock. And then fold your circle in half and then trace it onto hot pink cardstock for the top of our love ball. Cut your circle and half circle out. Now I'm going to use buttons for the center of my love ball, but you can make out of felt or cardstock if you'd prefer. Make a heart on your scrap paper and make sure it's the size you want. Once it is, trace down to white cardstock and cut it out. Cut the scrap heart down and then trace it onto pink cardstock and then cut that out as well. Freehand the long oval piece that goes in the center of your heart. Tape your hearts into place and cut off the excess at the end. I suggest double-sided tape instead of score tape, of course, if you want a second or third chance with placing your pieces. Tape the top piece of the love ball onto the white circle. Cut off anything extra that's sticking out. I didn't have any black cardstock, so I used black felt instead for this middle piece. Use tacky glue to hold it into place. Hot glue the black and white buttons into place. Tape your love ball down onto one of your front and back pieces. Ignore this center cut I made because I tried to make this card fancier, but then I decided against it last minute. Put double-sided tape or score tape on the bare sides of your centerpiece. Stay as close to the edge as possible. I highly suggest using score tape smaller than ½ inch. For double-sided tape, you might need to cut it in half long ways to give your tags extra space and move up and down. Hole punch the empty tag as close to the center as possible. This part will either make or break your card. You have to make sure that your tags don't get stuck to any of the tape when putting the front and back pieces on. Hold the tags down and try to center the pieces the best that you can. Loop a cute ribbon through the hole you made earlier. As you can see, I'm struggling to pull my tags back inside the card. One of the reasons is because I didn't leave enough space for the card to move around. So like I stated earlier with the tape, cut it down lengthwise for more squiggly room. One other thing I would change to make it easier for the card to move is to make the Zubat out of cardstock instead, and then make the love ball out of felt. That way the Zubat is flat and then it doesn't have to go up against anything. Once the front and back are on, you can write whatever you want on the blank tag. Your 1 in a million works perfect for this tag. This step is optional, but I think it adds a great touch to your card. Cut out the extra pieces of cardstock around the Zubat so when someone pulls the card down, it gives the illusion that Zubat is hanging down. I suggest using a small pair of scissors, like thread scissors, so you can make more precise cuts. Be careful not to cut into any of the thread if you decided to make your Pokemon out of felt, but like I suggested earlier, make your Pokemon out of cardstock and make the love ball out of felt instead. Now you're ready to give this card to someone special or just keep it for yourself and hang it on your wall. Everyone loves Zubat, so it doesn't matter who you give it to. If you're not going to use Zubat, which you really should be using, what Pokemon or video game character do you plan to use instead? I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you for watching and I'll see you guys next time.